Moving on, we have the last topic for the plenary morning session on digital delivers great customer experiences, to be presented by Globe Telecom's Head of Mobile Advertising, Bela Gupta de Souza. Bela Gupta de Souza's she heads Globe Telecom's digital and mobile advertising group, a pioneer in hyper-targeted marketing solutions across digital and mobile channels in the Philippines. She joined Globe in 2012 from Groupon, the world's leading social e-commerce platform, where she served as co-founder and COO for the Thailand office. She has previously held roles in the telecom, internet, and IT outsourcing industries across India, the US, and the UK. She holds a bachelor's degree with honors in economics from the University of Mumbai, a postgraduate degree in advertising and public relations from the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, and an MBA from the Graduate School of Business at Stanford University, with a specialization in entrepreneurship and marketing. The floor is yours, Bella.
Thank you. Okay. Can everyone hear me? Okay, good afternoon. I have a very unenviable position before me because I stand before you in lunch, right? So I thought to get your appetites going, I'd play a quick exercise with all of you guys. So I want all of you up on your feet, please. Come on. Okay, let's stretch it out. Get our appetites going. Okay, great. So I would like for you to take a seat if the first thing you grab in the morning is your mobile phone. Interesting. So I'm going to say about 90% of the room has sat down. Okay. Sit down if the first thing you grab, I'm surprised you sat down. Sit down if the first thing you grab in the morning when you wake up is your lovely partner. Okay, so for those of you who are still standing, I'd love to get lunch with you and find out what it is that you grab in the morning when you wake up. Okay, so my name is Bela Gupta de Souza. I head mobile advertising for Globe Telecom here in the Philippines. We're very excited about the fact that it's a digital world today. Nothing new, I think you all know that. But what I wanted to highlight for this session is that 5 billion mobile subscribers exist in the world today. That's 70% of the population globally. Of those 5 billion, 2 billion people are actually online. Half of those people who are online are engaged in social media. I think that's nothing new for us here in the Philippines, which is one of the largest social media markets in the world. Interestingly also, there are 1.5 billion smartphones globally. And here smartphones could be, sophisticated iOS or Android devices, but also the cheaper models that we see, particularly in the developing world. And this really represents already 30% of mobile subscribers, and that number is going to go up very drastically over the next few years. So where are we going to be in 2018? Looking forward, interestingly, we predict that PCs will actually be outnumbered by smartphones and tablets. Last year was actually a very interesting year for PC sales. They actually staggered for the first time in sales history. So tablets and smartphones are really going to be the device that people use. In the Philippines, it's interesting because for a lot of people who are accessing the web for the first time, the first and only medium they're doing it through is actually their smartphones. E-commerce sales are likely to be about $1.8 trillion in the next 5 years. So again, that has huge implications for how we think about marketing our brands and services. The global digital ad spend is likely to be about $170 billion. 35% of that is likely to go to mobile. Philippines, specifically on the Philippines, we predict that there are going to be about 80 million smartphone handsets in this market in the next 5 years. So that's roughly about 80% of the population. This is going to be an e-commerce market of about $2.5 billion, 40% of which will actually be spent on virtual goods. So things like music and videos, and then some amount on services like live streaming online. And the advertising spend today in the Philippines for digital, as we all probably know, is quite small. But we expect that number to go up to about $3 billion in the next 5 years. So At Globe, we really truly believe in the power of mobile, and we really think it's the most powerful and personal medium on the planet that you can use. If you think about it, it's really the first device that you see in the morning, as you guys testified today. It's the last device that you're probably interacting with before you sleep, and the mobile phone has really become sort of our companion in day-to-day life, right? It gives us information that we need, it manages our schedules for us, it entertains us when we need to play a game or have some downtime, and increasingly it's also becoming our default payment device. So in the Globe office today in Taguig, we just moved in last week, all payments now only happen through GCash on our phones. It's a completely cashless office. For those of you who may not be aware, Globe is actually is partly owned by Singtel in the Philippines, Singtel in Singapore. And so through that partnership, we truly believe that our right to play in advertising is not just at a local level in the Philippines, but at a regional level. Through all our Singtel affiliates, we're talking about 450 million subscribers that we could potentially be harnessing for advertising purposes. Singtel also owns Amobi. It's the world's leader in mobile advertising. So through that partnership, we get to work exclusively with them in the Philippines as well and offer their services to our clients. And then, of course, Globe on the ground, we are proud of our local operations, and we're really trying to build a mobile advertising business that harnesses the work that we're doing around data analytics, which I'll touch upon later. So how does digital really deliver great experiences for customers? In my mind, there are three main pillars that matter. One is that digital really delivers relevant content that surprises and delights people. Secondly, it's about personalized engagement and human connection, which if you look at traditional advertising, increasingly you find that it's very disconnected from what the customer really wants or cares about. And digital really has the opportunity to embrace their customers in a more meaningful way. And then the final pillar here is around the omnipresence that digital can really have in the purchasing journey of customers. So ultimately it boils down to data analytics. All three of these objectives can be achieved if we look very closely at our data intelligence internally. Dan was asking the question in his prior presentation about where do you source data from? As a telecom player, we're actually in a very unique position because we have access to tons of data internally that we're today trying to make sense out of, and I'll come back to that. So around relevance for digital media and surprising and delighting customers, studies have found that 91% of marketers believe that successful brands use customer data to drive their marketing decisions. 45% of those 45% increase in revenue growth for companies have come from investing in their analytical capabilities. Yet, interestingly, only 95% of data within companies today remains largely unidentified. So only 5% of data in many companies today is known and is classified and is managed. Now, I'm sure this is something all of you guys have seen. You've received it. I assure you it hasn't come to you from Globe or Smart for that matter. And if Robin's in the room, Robin, I apologize. This is not meant to be pointed at you, but spam messages are really annoying. I think we all receive them pretty often. But we're really in the business of changing the dynamics here. We don't want to send you guys spam messages. What we want to do is we want to understand our subscribers better and then deliver you ads that we think will delight you because it's so contextually relevant to where you are or what you're interested in or what your purchasing behavior has been. So at Globe today, we're investing a lot of time and energy and resources in building out our database capabilities. We have over 35 million customers, many of whom travel abroad, but most of them are based here. It's a primarily prepaid market, which means we don't have any information about our subscribers when they actually get a SIM card. But internally, there's still a lot we can infer based on the usage of your SIM card. So one part of the data is historical. What has been your average top up over the last 3 months? And therefore, what can we infer about your disposable income? It could be real-time information. Where are you at the moment? You're sitting in Power Plant Mall. Is there an advertiser in this mall that may want to talk to you because you're actually here real-time? So those are also the things that we are able to extrapolate as part of our analysis. And then the third component is things about you that we can infer. For example, if you have a data plan with Globe and you're a regular visitor of cnn.com/sports, perhaps we can tag you as someone who's interested in sports. Of course, in all of these scenarios, there is a margin for error. We may not actually get it right, but it's much better that we actually explore these options where we try and get to know you better and deliver you therefore a message or a piece of content or an ad that we think is relevant to you. So here are some of the things that we're trying to build intelligence around today internally in Globe. We're trying to infer age, gender, your marital status, your income based on how you're spending on your Globe account, your interests and your occupation. Some of this information in the past has been proactively asked of our subscribers, but we realize that that's not a scalable model at all. So just like Google and Facebook and many other publishers, we're also in the business of harnessing the data that exists internally and making it valuable, not just to people who value it, but on the advertising side, but at the same time really bringing value to customers at the end of the day. So one such collaboration that we're working on at the moment is with Groupon. Groupon, as you all know, and some of you must be Groupon customers, they're primarily in the business of sending out email alerts to tell you what deals are on offer on their site. However, it's a largely untargeted exercise because these emails are just going out to people who've opted in to receive their email alerts. We talked to the management at Groupon recently and said, why don't we help you? We know, what deals are in your pipeline for the coming week. We also have a subscriber base within Globe for whom we know a few people who are interested in shopping. We know people who've actually looked up certain vendors or merchants or restaurants in the city. We can kind of make inferences around, the Groupon target demographic is female, a certain age group, income level. We have similar data available internally on our subscribers. So we've partnered with Groupon to actually now deliver deals via SMS to Globe subscribers who we think are most likely to want to actually avail of that deal. So all of a sudden your conversation changes with your customer because you're delivering them a piece of content that they probably find very valuable versus just shooting in the dark and hoping for the best. So in this example, this would be a message that a Groupon subscriber a Globe subscriber would receive. They would have a link to click onto the Groupon site and make a transaction, either over their phone or they can call in and close the deal. And we zero rate the site, so it's actually of no cost to the Globe subscriber. So really it's about creating value and delighting customers every day with something that's meaningful to them. The same also applies on the cross-selling side. So today Globe has a very big business in value-added services. A lot of our subscribers love the playback ringtones, etc., that we offer. Again, the kind of music you're selecting on a daily basis, it says a lot about who you are, right? If your favorite ringtone is Coldplay's latest song, then there can be an inference that can be made to say perhaps you're interested in rock music going forward. And so we are designing our cross-selling capabilities even on the VAS side to deliver you suggestions on ringtones going forward that we think you have a higher probability of accepting. So the second pillar I talked about where digital adds customer value is really in personalizing communication and bringing the humanness back to engagements with customers. 57% of customers in a recent poll by Harris said they were in favor of price matches, and 36% would actually like to receive personalized coupons. So I think there's a mentality out there that people don't want to be contacted at all, don't talk to me about promotions, ads really in my face. But if you really look at the numbers on people who are actually keen, we're all quite price sensitive buyers and we're interested in getting deals that we know are relevant to us, particularly when you combine it with a location-based capability. So if I'm shopping at Rustan supermarket and Globe can detect that, it would be very valuable for me to actually receive coupons for availment during my actual visit to Rustan's than if I was sitting at home at 9 p.m. watching TV. 90% of Forrester study respondents have said that customer experience is a top strategic priority for their firms. Yet, according to the study, only 41% of customer experience professionals actually use research in thinking about their design. So there's, again, a gap between what companies know is important to do in terms of personalization and really connecting with their audience, taking feedback from their customers versus what they actually do when decisions are being made. There's one company that's actually revolutionizing that problem and making it much better, and this is an exclusive partner for us in the Philippines called Local Measure. What Local Measure does is there are a lot of sentiment gauging, social intelligence platforms out there, but what makes Local Measure really different is they're able to detect real time what people are talking about in a specific location. So Globe, for example, is very interested in using this tool to see what people are saying specifically inside Globe stores. And this could be positive things or negative things. But the beauty of this tool is that you can actually reply immediately to good or positive feedback. And where this information is collected from is whatever is publicly available social media information. So this platform amalgamates all the information that's available out there in the social media world. But what makes it different from the other products is that it's real time and it's based on someone's actual location. So what are the use cases here for a company in retail, for example, where you have a very strong customer and hospitality focus? You have a customer who walks in to your store and says, oh, I just bought the latest Globe My Super plan, and I'm so happy about it. So this is actually an example of one of our customers that we saw on our dashboard who walked into a Globe store and got a plan. So looking at this real time, we know this person is actually in the store at the moment. We also know what her social media influence is. We can actually contact her right away and say, let us help you think of your options, as you're thinking of upgrading your plan. Similarly, we'd have disgruntled customers who walk in and say, oh my God, I'm waiting for so long at the Globe store. I'm so frustrated, TikTok. And they've posted this picture on Instagram. This person has his set of followers, they have a certain level of influence. How wonderful is it that we can actually contact this person right away? And not just him, contact the branch manager and say, hey, there's this person in the store right now who's feeling really disgruntled because they've had to wait for so long. How can we address it immediately on the spot? So all of a sudden, you fundamentally change the way you engage with your customers. And so I wanted to use this example as a way of how digital media really makes that possible. Similarly, we did another study for Gelatissimo, which I'm sure we all know and love, but they're actually an Australian-based gelato chain with operations in the Philippines. And they were actually amazed using this tool to see how much engagement there is in the Philippines around food and picture taking and experience sharing in the Gelatissimo stores. And this was really informative for them to manage store operations, even sitting out of Australia and figuring out how to optimize store visits here in the Philippines. The final pillar is around omnipresence in the different paths to purchase. So, typically advertising gets involved in two areas, right? One is right before you're, thinking of, or not even probably thinking of making a purchase, but right at the beginning when you're, you're likely to be interested in a particular product or service. And then the next time advertising really makes its mark is at the end when they want to resell you something or they want to bring you back or build loyalty. But digital media really focuses on the entire journey. It's about being in touch with the customer every part of their journey to purchase or to loyalty or to repurchase. And the way this happens is that through data, we can actually track where people are, what are they buying, and how do we really insert ourselves into that decision-making process. 81% studies have found that over 80% of purchasing decisions are made by referencing social sites or looking at actual product sites to make a decision around them. 37% of smartphone users actually use their devices to aid them in their purchasing decisions. Yet the tragedy is that over 70% of smartphone-related searches and end up in an offline purchase. This is going to change very quickly. There are a lot of issues at the payment end that still need to be sorted out, particularly in the market like Philippines. But what this highlights is really the role that digital can play in every step of the purchasing journey. Okay, so one thing that we're really excited about in Globe is how context is suddenly king. We now very soon are going to start offering a service whereby advertisers can talk to Globe subscribers on a real-time basis based on where they're at. So they can actually ping out an area and say, I want to talk to any Globe subscriber that's within a certain radius of my store. Or on the reverse, they can say, I want to talk to this particular Globe employee whenever he or she is in my area. And why this is so important is because this allows brands to be involved in the purchasing paths of customers. So this is actually sometimes just based on location, right? If you're in a mall, your likelihood of wanting to buy something is pretty high, right? If you're in a different setting, if you're at work, then your purchasing behavior may be different. If you're at home, it's very different. But if we're able to actually detect where you are on a real-time basis, so take this case, Zalora is one of our clients. If someone's searching the Zalora app and we know where they are physically, in this case as a mega mall, we're asking them to double check that they're there, and then we can actually issue them offers for availment at that point in time within the mall. So it suddenly creates highly contextual services for customers, and you're aiding them in their purchasing path. Another case I want to point out is actually one that Amobi's worked on with Vertu, which is one of the leading manufacturers of luxury phones in the world. And they really embraced these ideas that I've talked about. And I'm going to showcase a video to you how they actually used digital and mobile strategies to bring people into their stores and drive up their sales. They actually grew their revenues from 200 to 300 million dollars this year, just from engaging in these kind of strategies, and experienced an exceptionally high CTR by engaging digital. So let's take a look at this video. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Bella. If you can sit with me for around 10 to 15 minutes before we break for lunch, get some questions from the crowd. Yes, please.
Hi, good afternoon.
Hi.
I'm Candice of ABS-CBN Star Cinema.
Yes.
My question is, if location-based advertising and cross-selling will be implemented, how will Globe address some privacy issues?
That's a question that comes up quite a few times. So it depends on how you define privacy, right, in this setting. When we talk about advertising at Globe, we are actually very, very considerate of privacy settings. Our entire advertising base at Globe is an opt-in base. And so today our targeting for ads is really only towards this opt-in base. When it comes to location-based services, it's a bit different because it's real time. And sometimes we think the benefit is on even a customer that may not be opted in for ads, but it's really a service that we want to offer them that we think may benefit them. In which case we would ask them for a permission to offer them a deal. And if they say, so we would say, we notice you're in this area, would you like to receive offers for this particular area? If the answer to that is no, that goes into our logs as something that is not something this customer is interested in, and we make sure that we don't contact them again. So we're still working on that. We recognize the importance of it, and ultimately our focus is on delivering value to customers, so they no longer see it as an invasion of privacy, but rather the delivery of services and content and ads that are so relevant to them that it's a delight for them to receive.
Thank you. I think it's really more of a mind shift, isn't it? Because for me, I'm very private as a person, and sometimes it goes borderline creepy. Like, how do you know I'm in this venue at this time? And how do you know what I like? Why are you sending me, information about this product? How do you know I like that?
Yeah.
So I think it's really a mind shift
Yeah.
to know that it's really more for your benefit
Right.
than
Yeah.
anything else.
I mean, this is the same thing that happened when Google started, sending you very targeted ads in your email. Back in the day, we all kind of reacted to it a bit, skeptically, and now it's kind of become something we've gotten used to. And really that same shift is being seen on the mobile side. But at the same time, we do have to really balance the act in terms of delivering value and freaking people out. So that's something we do take very seriously. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Do we have any other questions? Yes, Nick.
You mentioned that you were working with Zalora, which is an e-commerce retailer. You were sending them to in-mall stores. How does that work? It seems odd. You think Zalora... So you mentioned you were working with Zalora and then serving through their apps to send deals at stores inside the mall that people were in. How does that work if Zalora is an e-commerce retailer?
So actually with Zalora, what we do today is we work with them on their driving traffic to their e-commerce site. However, we think that the applicability can extend beyond e-commerce, because in the example that I showed, the person had the Zalora app on their phone, which allowed us to infer that they're interested in shopping in general. And therefore, when they're in a mall and their app is open, we can actually deliver them a display ad that says, we notice you're in this mall, are you interested in looking at shopping deals? So it's really leveraging the information we have on someone. So in this case, it's the fact that they have a Zalora app on their phone, versus saying, okay, we're going to take away Zalora's customers and send them into retail stores.
Thanks, Nick. Next question. Yes, please. Take the closest microphone.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Lourdes from New Works Interactive Labs. I just want to ask, how specific can we expect the location-based targeting to be? Like, I know in some countries they're also able to target, like, for example, once they step into the store, they receive an SMS message that there's a deal.
Yep.
So how specific can we expect it to be here in the Philippines?
Yeah, that's a question that we've been trying to answer for months. The way it's going to work is actually based on cell tower reception, of where you're at. And we're trying to build a solution that operates within a radius of 0.5 kilometer of error. So if you're within a radius of 0.5 kilometers of the target, location that we want you at, we can push you an ad for it. So we believe that that's a pretty high level of accuracy to at least start with.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for that question. Do we have any other questions? Oh, okay. Cinema 3? Are we? Cinema 3. Yes, you have a question over there. Go ahead. I think we're having a bit of audio difficulty. Yes, she's miming. Oh, should she write it? Will we have it resolved, or perhaps she can write it down and then somebody can just bring it over? Yes. Well, there's a question here. If she can wait a few minutes, can somebody ask a question first? Go ahead.
I think this circumstance is telco agnostic in the sense that the country really isn't ready yet for a vast infrastructure that enables mobile users to have a good, or in your phrase, a delightful experience. No? I guess my question is, how do you reconcile that fact insofar as I'd like to assume you're trying to sell advertising to other B2Bs, no? On an agency level, I think we're also trying to prove the case to clients that mobile is a way to go, but then again, the experience is really poor. How do you reconcile these differences?
Yeah. Actually, I don't agree that the experience is poor. I think it's come a long way. And when we think of mobile advertising, I think we have a tendency to think that it has to be very sophisticated, it has to be three-dimensional ads, augmented reality, complex creative designs. I agree that perhaps we're not there yet because we need higher speed internet connections, etc. But what we really try and work with advertisers, including agencies, on is harnessing the power of the Globe database of subscribers, which is delivering very rich data, demographic, psychographic information about our subscriber base, and combining that with mobile strategies that work, and being as integrative as we can. So this is the text messaging capital of the world. 2 billion texts are exchanged today. Almost 80% of our business today is centered around hyper-targeted SMS services. So, and advertisers really lap that up because its response rates to SMS are extremely high. Everybody's getting them. It's device agnostic. So you can really deliver value even using the most traditional forms of advertising in mobile today. But of course, we want to move the world in the Philippines towards higher value advertising products and services, and we'll get there when the time comes for it. And being at Globe is an advantage to us because we can really tell the guys in postpaid and prepaid and broadband and mobile data services. We work very closely with them actually to keep track on the progress we're making on those fronts.
Thank you very much. Okay, I think this is the question from this is her piece of paper. So it got teleported over. We work with airlines, gas stations, retail food stores. I was curious how you intend to use your... Oh no, she's a doctor.
To use
crowd data? Is this crowd data?
CRM?
CRM data.
Yeah.
There you go. To enhance delivery of ads for different clients.
Yeah.
This is a message of Ernst and the Mobile Marketing Conference.
Okay, so if I understood correctly, the question is specific to the airline, gas station, food store, industries. Actually, it's really exciting, and I hope I'm answering the question correctly. But we're not in this business alone. We think that partnerships are really, really important. We're actually very excited about airlines. We're very excited about banks. We're very excited about retail and we're starting to have those conversations today with those brands because there's a tremendous opportunity to marry the data. Of course, never ever compromising on the safety and integrity and security of those numbers, but it's more around data, right? If I was able to look at someone's usage of their SM Advantage card, and that person is a Globe subscriber, if I combine that information, what I potentially have is a very powerful customer experience that I can deliver, because I can actually look at what this person is buying at SM, and therefore what do we reward them for? If they've bought Pantene shampoo at SM Hypermarket 5 times in a row, then we should reward them for it. Pantene would love to talk to that customer specifically. So we're really, really keen to work with airlines and retail and banks, because they also hold a ton of valuable information, and I think we can pass on our learnings around how to do data mining, and how to handle data securely, and extract insights that are valuable on both sides.
We've become the Truman Show, where technically you really know a lot of information about the customer, but that's exactly what you need to do for the business to thrive.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, in terms of the
Great.
attention span with a smartphone, because we talk about the internet, what is the attention span for a netizen? With a smartphone, has it gotten less because you tend to multitask when you have your smartphone, or
Yeah.
has it gotten to be a little longer because they're with it all the time?
Yeah. Well, as a device, if you look at it across mediums, the mobile phone medium has highest possible response rates, just because it's with you all the time. It's always switched on. You have a love affair with your phone. You're always with it, right? Also, within the mobile device, we find that SMS has on average, 90-second response rate versus email, which is about 90 minutes. We also find that in-app advertising is perhaps more effective and has a better, can grab attention more quickly than, say, web-based banner ads, which are actually much smaller even on a smartphone device. So it depends on what you're comparing it to, but I think across mediums, mobile has a huge advantage in terms of attention span, simply because it's with the person all the time. And then within the medium, we think that even some of the most traditional forms like SMS has really amazed us as to how highly responsive it can be for people who receive a message.
If we don't have any other questions, maybe we can just ask you to give us perhaps what you see the path is of customer service in terms of the digital realm.
Yeah.
In the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. To me, today we call ourselves an advertising business, but I think we all realize within Globe that we need to move past the word of advertising and think more as a data services company, or at least within my team. And what we're really essentially focused on is how to make sense of the tons and tons of data that is left behind in the digital footprints of Globe subscribers, and make sense out of it, and derive value from it, not just for marketers and advertisers, but more for the customers, to give them Globe products and services, not necessarily external, but internally, cross-selling Globe services that we think they would value based on their digital footprint. So the mentality really has to shift from just going about spamming people with ads to really delivering a valued service to them. Okay,
and with that, if there are no more questions, we'd like to thank Bela very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, it's already the afternoon.